Welcome to Not Your Basic Brunettes, where we, Devin and Katie, dive into all things girly and beyond. From sharing TMI moments to navigating life's chaos with humor and vulnerability, we're here to create a safe space for moms, single ladies, entrepreneurs, and corporate girlies alike. Grab a drink, get comfy, and join us as we laugh, cry, and connect through all of life's moments. Now here are your hosts, Devin and Katie.
Was your spiritual reading on accurate now?
I don't know. I was like, she's either really gonna like this or really make fun of me. You're like, Devin, why'd you bury someone on the internet? And I'm like,
Girl, I do too. It's fine. I had one time. I had
$60.
a psychic do a evil eye cleansing.
oh yeah,
Because definitely believe in that. Like people look at you and put
Yeah.
bad juju on you regardless. And it's very big. Actually in Omar's community, people don't
yeah.
even talk about their success or certain things with evil eye. Everybody's scared of evil eye. Evil eye.
Okay.
Just same thing. So it's I don't want bad vibes to go my way.
Yeah, no.
So
No, Instagram's been feeding me what I want to hear. Just all the psychics out there with their tarot cards. I'm like, oh yeah, that resonates. I'm like, no. They're
yeah.
like, this person with this initial is gonna reach out. I'm like, that could be anybody.
Could be anybody, and I don't know anybody with a J. That's awkward.
And then at the end they're like, and what is it like? Get your free reading or send me a WhatsApp message. I'm like, this little, if you don't email these messages, your family's gonna die. You have 7 years of bad luck. I'm like,
no,
hers
like
is pretty good.
I believe it though. In certain woo things, it needs to.
Oh yeah, no, obviously I do too. But some of them, it could apply to a general whatever. So that's why I got a personalized one. I was like, oh, that's. And I didn't give her any information besides
It has to be that way because
Yeah,
if you start feeding them information, then they pull it.
She was like, I just need a picture, and then you can either give me any sort of context, and I gave her a little bit of context of hey, just go through a divorce, my choice, had this connection, that's it.
Yeah.
And that's all I gave her because I was like, if I go into any more detail,
Well, and that's what you want.
Yeah,
that's what you want because I did one of the tarot readings with one of the locals in town. They come to Northern Lights Crystal Shop. Right up college.
Oh.
But every Wednesday or Thursday they have a tarot reader that comes in, and same thing. She's just so do you want anything specific or do you want to just a reading? I'm like, just basic, what's going on? And then she'd be like, cool. And I'm like, God damn it.
I could pull oracle cards on myself and do that. I don't have a deck
but she
anymore,
was on. I was like, God damn.
Yeah. I'll be back next Wednesday.
Yeah, literally. Because again, I just told her my name. That's it. I was just oh, just because I wanted to see if she was actually legit.
Well, sometimes I like the distance because I've talked to psychic mediums where you get in a really close relationship and then it kind of gets intertwined of okay, there's too much personal stuff invested. And so it's you can't get some that you're okay, I don't really know. It seems too far off, but then it's if it gets too muddled together, I'm like, okay, well now you have a personal investment in me. I feel like that might get a little entangled because that happened to me too. She would start talking about her life and her marriage and all this sort of stuff, and I'm using this as an example. I would sit through my session and be like, are we gonna get to me?
To me? I feel like this episode should be more about this right now.
That's fine. I don't care. Shoot this shit. I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, this would be a good beta test to see if people like topics or just us shooting the shit.
I think we should talk about this.
Okay.
What woo woo are you? That one subject.
Yeah.
You had, what woo woo are you?
Well, I also started the week falling out of my car.
I'm sorry, what? Why?
I was already super emotional because I have all my period and all the shit that's been going on. And I pull it into my garage and I get out and I have these stupid shower curtain rings with little balls on it.
Yeah.
I stepped on one and just rolled straight down. I grabbed him at the door and I was just landing on my hip. I was like, I could either bust out laughing, I could cry, or I could get angry. I just sat there. I was like,
you're like,
that one tear come down. I was just like,
I'm done.
Okay, well that fucking just happened. I fell out of my vehicle. And then I'm chasing my dog around the Target parking lot and into Target today.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Well, it's dog. I had a box of stuff to return, so I took his leash off because he was going to stay in the car. And he's so good about sneaking behind, and he was like, "I'm out." I'm like, "Shit!" So I threw the thing in the bushes. The car door's open. he's running. I'm like, okay, like pretending like, come back, like.
Yeah.
And he's like, no,
He's
this
like,
is a
"See ya."
game, yeah. And so he starts running, and I kind of chase him, and then I yell to the guy giving some, the car side services, like, can you grab
Yeah.
my dog? And he's like, wait, what? And he like missed it. I was like, oh shit! So he like, runs across, and I'm
Oh.
like running, and some other guy comes out, and he's like, oh my god. He's running through the doors opening, and then I was like, I'm gonna run this fucker through Target.
Yeah.
And this mom and this daughter like caught him with her legs.
That's awesome.
I'm like hauling his fat ass like across the parking lot.
You're like,
I'm
come
like,
here, buddy.
that would have been really funny to see. If that wasn't me. Just this girl running around the Target parking lot, like chasing her dog into the store,
Like, hello.
don't mind me.
Excuse me. Pardon me. I'm
like out of breath. I'm like, okay, cardio for the day. It's fine.
Oh my god, that's great.
It really depends on what's going on in life.
Yeah.
I feel like when I have a lot of questions about my life changes, I'm like, all right, wait, what you got?
Right.
The angel numbers, the signs.
I mean, she was kind of on that, but also, welcome back to Not Your Basic Brunettes. This week,
we
gonna
haven't seen each other in a week, okay?
We haven't seen each other in a week. I know. Eid came, and so Eid Mubarak for all my Muslim friends. We had a great time. We went to Texas, visited some friends, and she watched my crazy dog.
Yeah, it was madness, and it rained, and it was muddy.
So they had a great time.
They did have a good
They
time.
had a great time.
They did.
So this week we're gonna talk a little bit more about like what kind of woo woo are you, and what spiritualities do you believe in and don't believe in, and
Yeah.
let's get into that. I'm fine with it. So Devin recently had a tarot reading.
Yeah.
Which
from
is
Instagram.
From an Instagram.
I think her name is, what is her name? Something Mandy. But
Mandy.
yeah. I mean,
it's a white girl name.
Well, she is a white girl.
But she didn't look like one.
Yeah, she's like brunette and curvy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're very pretty. You look like a Mandy.
Yeah.
Is this your stage name?
Maybe it's just,
it's a synonym name, so you don't know my real name.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I have this like other one that keeps being served to me. I forget her like, it's like her Instagram handles like she's verified or whatever. It's like big hair mama Tara car or something like that. So it's like some New Jersey woman that's like really aggressive with the cars. Like, oh honey. I'm just like, oh okay.
Does it remind you of that one lady? What was that lady? Oh my gosh, what is her name? She was like a same thing, like Jersey Shore, like medium, who had like the huge hair.
That's what she
like
looks
talked
like.
to ghosts.
Yeah.
I love
she keeps
her.
popping up in the same with this other girl of like all this love stuff. I'm like, quit. I don't need to be immersed in this right now.
I don't want it. Take it away. Oh, I know. But I get that too, like with the, what do you call it? Like TikTok videos of like when things are changing or like spirituality things are going to open, or like Mercury's in the microwave, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, damn it.
Well, there's that huge, the eclipse that just ended.
Mm-hmm.
And now tomorrow's like a huge portal because it's 4/4.
Yes.
And they're like, do all of this stuff. And I don't normally do the rituals. I'm always like, oh, that would be fun. But like, it's never top of mind.
Yeah.
So like, I read into it, but like, I feel like I don't participate in the rituals of that certain stuff. But like, I feel like I definitely can feel, I'm like, is this the eclipse going on, or is this just what's going on in my life? And I feel like it's one and the same.
Yeah. Honestly though, like for me, I'm a little bit more on that woo-woo side for belief, because like I told you, I feel things and see things and stuff like that. Like I don't practice and do a lot of the rituals, but definitely I feel like when planets align and astrology, all that kind of stuff, like it all meshes and mixes, because it's sometimes unexplainable when it comes down to like what's happening right now and why is this happening, and then you get like a reading, you're like, oh damn it, that's why. This bullshit.
Totally believe in the energy shifts and all this sort of stuff, and like I keep getting the stuff of like, these are the signs that you're going to be doing like this quantum leap of like everything falling apart at a rapid pace and all this sort of like the chaos before the calm, essentially. And like, I need to be better about being in tune with that, because then my logical anxiety is like, but I'm creating all of this because this is happening in my life. And like, I want to hold on to it so much control.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to do like the opposite.
Right. Yeah. Because honestly, there is a higher energy that makes these things happen. Like, it's not just always you; it's also manifesting it. Like, your energy manifesting it to the energy that's already created around ends up making it go the way you want to or what you're looking for.
Yeah, I keep getting the message of like the universe is conspiring for you, not
Yeah.
against you, and
Right.
you will always receive what you're supposed to receive.
Correct.
And so I have to keep reminding myself that. I think that's a big trust thing too, of
Yes.
like trusting in any sort of higher power because I grew up Christian.
Hmm.
And it's so funny because I was like looking back at my like 8th grade yearbooks when I was like really into like FCA or whatever, and
Yeah.
we had like Bible study, but I feel like I was really in for like the Starbucks before
Yeah,
school
a lot
type
of kids
thing.
were in like
Yeah.
like church school or whatever for like the fun part, like to hang
Yeah.
out with their friends or like
Yeah.
play volleyball or whatever. Like,
Yeah. And so I tried to fit in with that group, and one girl in my yearbook was literally like, "I'm so glad you came to church and we're in Bible study, and he saved you." And I just remember it being so inauthentic in that moment because I'm like pretending that happened because
yeah,
I'm like, I want to fit in,
right,
but I never resonated with it. It was always
right,
just like, good people should have good things happen to them, bad people should have bad, like the
correct.
karmic
Yes,
type of
karmic type of
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
did you grow up as?
Honestly, I didn't really grow up as anything.
Mm.
My Okay, so my parents when I was younger, we moved to Colorado really young. And my mom got us like those like the kids like Bible books. So you
Mm.
kind of understood like what are the 10 commandments, who's
Yeah.
Jesus, all that kind of stuff. But like little cartoon books, just like so you
Mm.
kind of like get the gesture. Um we tried to go to church a few times, like different churches,
Yeah.
but we never really found one I feel like that like kind of stuck. And then we kind of grew up in a Jewish community area. So
Okay.
it was a little bit different. And then like asking my mom about it later, it was like, why didn't we like go to church or
Hmm.
whatever? And my mom always said my favorite quote was, well, I couldn't find a church that I resonated with or believed in because I didn't like certain churches and the way pastors would talk to you, saying that like if you don't believe in this, none of that, you're
Yeah.
going to hell.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, why should I believe Pastor so and so if he's sleeping with Billy Sue down the
Exactly.
road and he's got a wife
Yes.
and 3 kids? So
Yeah.
it just
The
didn't resonate.
hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy,
Yeah.
correct. So my mom was same thing, was a big believer of like karma. Was
Mhm.
like you do bad, you're gonna, go get bad in
Yeah.
between. And then my sister became like a Buddhist during college,
Mhm.
was in Boulder for a little while, and she's a little bit more on the Buddhist side.
Mhm.
My husband's a Muslim, so like, and then
Yeah.
like technically my family's Jewish because my mother's side, from they say it's from your mother's side. If your mother's side is Jewish, you're Jewish.
Hmm.
And then during the World War II and the Nazis and everything, my family was primarily German and Polish Jews that had converted to Catholicism, trying to
Oh.
like hide from
Yeah, yeah.
the Nazis. But unfortunately, that didn't really work. Most of them died
Oh,
during
geez.
the
Yeah.
Holocaust. So it's it's interesting because like my whole like religion is based. What it's like, it's all over the place. But I'm just open.
Yeah.
So my parents were always just like, be open and like, whatever people believe in, it's what they believe in,
Yeah.
and just kind of keep an open mind about it. And I think that's why me and my husband get along so well, because I'm like, I understand his religion and I get it, but I've also read like about Judaism, about
Mhm.
Christianity, about like, so like there are things that I agree with like in all of the religions, but I
Yeah.
don't completely believe them in general. So it's not like
Yeah.
there's one specific that I'm like I resonate with the most,
Yeah.
you know?
No, that makes sense, and it's not like he pressures you to
No, not
convert
at
or anything
all.
like
Not at
that, and
all.
just like
No.
just that he does his own thing, and you could if you wanted to, he'd support you
Yeah.
either way type thing.
Yeah, but like being a Muslim is very, it's again, it's a life-changing decision and
Mhm.
like not to be taken lightly. It's the same
Yeah.
thing with like being a Jew or and things like that. Like cuz he told me, cuz like in the way to like convert uh to being a Muslim, you have to like read Arabic,
Mhm.
read the Quran. You have to like do a few other things, and in order to like, and then you kind of like complete and give yourself to Allah. Like
Yeah.
that's just how it is. And one, I don't know if I could ever learn Arabic. Let's be honest.
It's
With my ADD
hard.
brain
Yeah.
too. But again, there's just certain things that I don't agree with, but I do agree with the majority, because it's funny because like once you read about all the religions, like, and I also took a religions course like in college,
Mhm.
all bases are the same.
Yeah.
They just have a different prophet they believe in,
Right.
and, like,
Exactly.
everything's the same. Like, they all believe in the 10 commandments, like, be a good person,
Yeah.
don't screw thy neighbor, and,
Yeah.
like, like,
Be a good
be a good
person.
person. That's all it is. That be a good, like, I should have a t-shirt, be a good
Good person.
person. Like, that's
Yeah.
all it is. That's
Yeah.
really all it is, and, you know, give charity and be good to thy neighbor
Yeah.
and like things like that. It's literally all the same. You just believe in different prophets. Like that's it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Because like I don't just because I'm not Christian doesn't mean I don't believe that Jesus was alive.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. But yeah, I think that's a big thing that I had growing up, especially in the South with Christianity too. It just seemed like everybody went on Sunday to be a good person, but they weren't, acting the way they should
Oh yeah.
or according to the laws of the Bible or whatever
Absolutely.
during the week. And like for me, I'm always kind of like an all or nothing type person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I can't follow that because I don't feel true to myself. And it's just like I also I don't resonate with
Mm-hmm.
the how come these set of rules can dictate
Apply.
everything
Yeah.
and it can technically evolve over time.
Right.
I had a long discussion with my dad last time I saw him because he's a big Christian believer
Yes.
and that sort of stuff. And
Yeah.
I believe what you want. Same thing. That's we had a long talk about it, and I was like, "What do you think about the universe?" And like,
Yeah.
trying to do that sort of stuff. So we were talking about heaven and hell and stuff like
Right.
that, and like. I was like, I believe in more of reincarnation.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't mean you have to have the second, if you do something bad, you're not coming back as like a beetle. Like you come through your lives until you learn the lessons you're supposed to.
Correct.
Or
Yeah.
if you go down the enlightenment path, that sort of stuff. But it's not like if I die tomorrow, then the next person who's born is me. I feel like
Right.
it could be lifetimes in between.
Correct.
So it was interesting for him to be like, well, I believe in heaven and hell. And I'm like, well, where do I go in your mind?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, I totally feel
it's
that.
so abstract that it's kind of hard to like, once you start getting into those granular
Mhm.
questions, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that's for me too, because like I feel that like I am actually terrified of like death.
Mhm.
Like I'm terrified of it. Like I hate when they ask me that stupid question, like depression screening question. They're like, do you feel like you're harming yourself or commit
Yeah, yeah.
suicide? And I'm like, no, no,
Yeah.
like I'm like so scared of death because one, like for me, not growing up with a religion, I don't have a basis of like
Where
heaven
do
or
I go?
hell.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but where do I go?
Yeah.
Is this just like the infinite and that's it and it's over and it's just
Yeah.
gone? Like I don't know. And for my husband, it's different because he's religious, so he's like, if God takes me tomorrow, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm like I've lived my life and the way that I wanted, and I believe in heaven. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but how? But why? Like I'm just like
I know. Give me a
freak
concrete
out.
answer.
Give me
Where
a
do I
concrete. I need to
go?
know. Like
It's like
it's
Wi-Fi.
hard.
Is just up there.
Yeah. Can I get down from the cloud now? Like
But just like
I need-
everybody around.
Yeah,
come
so
back?
for me, that's really hard to like
Yeah.
resonate with. People are like, "Oh yeah," like I don't understand how he's not afraid of death. Like it freaks
Yeah.
me out. I'm like, "How are you not afraid?" And he's like, "Because I believe and I've lived the best life and blah, blah, blah." And I'm just
Yeah.
like, "Are we still recording?"
The universe is like, we're here.
The spirits were like, "We're jumping in."
Yeah.
Boop, dang
This is
it,
a 5D conversation
and
now.
glitch,
Can't make
and
this
we're
shit
dead.
up.
Heaven has
We
shown.
just jumped timelines, guys. It's fine.
Oh shit! Oh god. Literally. Oh god. But no, honestly, I should like. I love that. I love like knowing answers. Like
Mhm.
a lot of people. I don't know if you've ever heard of the um, what is it? The questionnaire of people that like if they knew when they were gonna die, that they would want to know or
Oh
when.
yeah.
I'm one of those people that I would want to know. I know a
I'd
lot
be
of
too
people don't.
anxious. Yeah.
A lot of people don't, and it's totally normal. Most people don't want to know. I'm
Yeah.
part of that small percent that wants to know, and the
Yeah.
reason being because I want to live my life to the fullest as much as possible.
Mhm.
So it's like if I know that I'm going to die in 10, 15 years or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever the subject says
Yeah.
or things, I want to know because honestly, I'd probably just end up selling all of my shit and traveling everywhere and be
Yeah.
like, fuck it, it doesn't matter. I'm going to die in 10 years and I want to
Yeah.
find all the experiences and do whatever I want on my bucket list before I
Yeah.
croak. Like I want to know.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'd be like, why? Why? Like
Why?
the annoying questions my kids
Yeah.
ask me. Why? Like I like to know the answers, and sometimes I feel like a lot of times when you do talk to a medium or psychic or a tarot, it's like a pretty they're supposed to be pretty general,
Yeah.
not too specific because then like you could kind of like mess with your mind or whatever, but like you're supposed to like intuitively, connect with what they're saying and like resonate and that sort of
Right.
stuff. So like someone were to tell me, "Hey, you're going to die when you're 55." I'd be like, "All right, one more year, like, like I
Oh,
would
like
keep
a
doing that,
countdown.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, because that's where my mind goes
Yeah.
of like so far into the future. But it is fun to like learn a little bit about your past and like try to figure out because I've been told that I was like an Irish man warrior back in one of my past lifetimes. I was
Cool.
like, that makes a lot of
Cool.
sense. Like, I feel like I'm not that used to being a woman in many of my lifetimes. And then another lady was like, you were this famous singer in the 1920s.
Yeah.
And I was like, can't sing worth shit right now, so I wonder where that talent went. But
It was like, I'm taking it away from
yeah,
you.
but it was like some sort of star. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, those are two very, very different
Different.
things,
Yeah.
but you can kind of resonate with both of them.
Yeah.
I guess because you don't know. It could have been Irish back in whatever, but I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I do feel like I would have been a man in my past lives because of just a lot of the masculine energy that I bring and thinking and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I feel that.
So it's
I feel
yeah,
like I might have done that too. Like in general, like I don't know yet, but like I'll go find out. But like, cause I always like, I'm cool with the dudes, like to hang
yeah,
out with the dudes, and like you know what I'm talking about, where it's like I'm a dude's girl, like I'm just here
yeah,
to hang out, and go play pool, like shots. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
No, do you believe like that you bring people with you in each lifetime, but they're just different people?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so like your mom in this lifetime could have been your best friend in your other one, or
Uh huh.
even weirder, like a lover in another
Yes.
lifetime and that sort of
Yes.
stuff. So you have like this karmic chain
I
until
yeah.
all your shit's resolved.
I completely feel that because there were certain connections with certain people
Hmm.
that I had, and it was like, why am I still like with this person? What's going
Yeah.
on? The attraction. I told you when I met my husband, it was like this weird instant shock, like
Yeah.
shock, love, feeling, butterfly, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like as soon as I met him, like, and it was weird because again, I
Yeah.
was married at the time. Obviously, I didn't do anything, ladies,
Yeah.
but he said the same thing. It
Yeah.
was like love at first sight, immediate, like just weird wave, like both
Yeah.
of us, and it was weird because it was like I didn't know you from
Right.
2 seconds ago,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it was like, "Ooh, oh,
Yeah.
hello," like,
Yeah.
and same thing with him. And so it's just weird. Like you feel like there are those times where you do run into somebody that you were supposed to be with in your past life, current life,
Yeah.
future life,
Yeah.
and that's how I kind of feel with him. It was weird. Like I said, it was weird
Yeah.
because I was not a woman to be like looking at other men when I'm married and like all that kind of stuff. And
Well,
then
yeah,
I
you
was
were
just
also
like,
just like going through a shit marriage too.
well, not even like,
Well,
but
not
just
yet.
in general, like I
Yeah.
was just like, it was our marriage was always rocky, but I
Yeah.
never was like attracted or like looked at other men like that,
Yeah.
you know. And then it was weird. We literally it was just in hello, and it was like this weird
Yeah.
wavelength between both of us.
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally get it because like I feel like that's happened to me in certain situations where you like see somebody, don't even know their name or whatever, and
Yeah,
you're like, I know you're going to be an important person in my life, and I don't know why or
correct.
when,
That's
but
exactly
also
it.
like I can't
Pinpoint it.
s- pinpoint it or like you're always on my mind, and then you feel
Yeah.
like a creep because you're like, oh, am I
Yes.
obsessed or whatever? But this person's lingering for some reason, and it'll eventually solve itself out, whether it was some sort
Correct.
of life lesson, life
Yeah.
lover, soulmate type thing. And I feel like I have a hard time with soulmates because
Yeah.
I feel like Hollywood has twisted it or society
Absolutely.
has twisted it.
Absolutely.
So I have a hard time being like, okay, I think you can have multiple soulmates for different
Yes.
periods of your life.
I agree.
And so, like, I think that's so much like, oh, I can't wait to find my soulmate. And it's like, well, maybe you have already, but you've
Yeah.
moved past that because you've learned the
Correct.
lesson you needed to, and your soul is
Correct.
on a different playing field or timeline or
Yes.
whatever. And then I've been looking into like the twin flames, that sort of like dynamic and all
Yes.
this complicated stuff. So it can be like overwhelming because you're like,
Mhm.
who's my soulmate? Who's the one?
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. And it's just
Yeah.
like, okay, you just need to vibe with someone's energy
Correct.
and like let it flow. And us as humans,
Right.
because we're all souls on a human level, the way I see
Correct.
it, it's just like human experiences. You're supposed to have heartache. You're supposed to have
Mhm.
struggles. Like,
Which suck.
yeah, like okay, when will I remember when I'm a soul?
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now, I have a question for
Yeah,
you. Have you ever had an experience with like your spirituality or spirits in like a different sense?
you mean like a ghost type
Mhm.
vibes?
Mhm.
Honestly, yeah, and it's kind of creepy. So I was probably in elementary school. So I grew up the youngest of four. My brother's oldest, and his sisters, and then me. Um, and when he graduated, we're 8 years apart. Graduated, I got his room. I remember laying in bed one night and just like feeling this like really dark, creepy energy, and like look in the corner and
You're like,
see like this black shadow, and I was
nope.
like, I don't know what that is,
I wanna
but like
go.
I still remember to this day that feeling that it gave me,
Mhm.
and not saying like it was the devil or anything like that, but
Right.
it definitely was not a friendly
Not a
presence
friendly
that
entity.
didn't need to be
Mhm.
in there. And I just remember being like, oh, I'm making this up in my mind, but like I still vividly remember
Mhm.
that. I don't think I've ever like had an experience with like a ghost or a presence like
Mhm.
that sort of sense. Um, yeah, 'cause I know you have. I know you're really
Mhm.
sensitive to that sort of stuff.
Yes, I am, unfortunately.
Like, how often does that happen to you? Do you like walk up to people's house and be like, "Hey, hey," like, "Hey"?
Well, I mean, it's different because okay, so like this was probably like about 3 years ago or so, and I went back to work. There was a buck moon
Mhm,
that happened, and all of a sudden it felt like this weird energy was just like all around me all the time,
mhm.
and I could see things on the side of like quick, like it'd
Yeah.
be like a quick shadow figure, whoop, and you're
Mm,
like,
I see some.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, am I losing my
Yeah.
or what's happening?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? So then I text my sister, and I was like, am I a witch? Is there something
Do you
going
have the
on?
freckle?
Do I do have the
Same.
freckle. I do. So that's a big thing. That's another thing. And then of course, like I'm like texting her because she's more on that woo-woo side
Yeah.
too than I have ever been. And a little bit more, tarot card reading and spirituality
Yeah.
and energies and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, am I like losing my like do
Yeah.
I need to go to see a professional or like do I
See
actually
you in the white suits,
yeah, I was like,
gotcha.
"Do I need a 5150? Like, somebody help me." And she was like, "No." She was like, "You have had this gift since you were
Aw,
young,
that's so cool.
and you're just now kinda opening it.
Yeah.
Like, it's open."
Yeah.
And with this, like, portal, there was, like, 2 portals and, like, Mercury
Yeah.
retrograde like, it was, like, this huge buck moon, full moon stuff was going on, and I had this weird urge to, like, buy all these crystals and all this,
Yeah.
it was just, like it was, like, an overwhelming feeling of, like, I need to buy all these crystals and, like, all this stuff
Yeah.
and, like, spirituality stuff, whatever.
Need a black hat.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
just
yeah,
kidding.
and my sister was like, "Legit, like, your thoughts are valid,
Mhm.
and if you feel like that's where your energy needs to be, like, do it."
Follow it, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, as you see, I have all these crystals in my
Yeah.
house. Um, and
I
yes,
probably
I
need to
do
get some new
and
ones.
I do charge them
Yeah.
with moon water.
Yeah.
Like, I know people are like, "What are you
No, I
doing?"
know
Like, putting
that,
moon
but mine
but, like
were huge, so I couldn't carry them out.
yeah, you just make your own water, girl, and then just pour
Oh,
pour it over
duh.
it. Pour it over, girl.
Bring the water to
Yeah,
me.
bring the water to the crystal, not outside. Plus, too, I don't leave my crystals outside because my child would find them and be like, "Ooh, rah,
Yeah. Yeah.
rah." But yeah, so, like, at that time, like, I was, like, seeing things, and, like, I would see things in the back of my car. I would see
Oof.
things when I was out and about. I would see things, like, just randomly. There was an entity in my house
Mm,
that scared the ever living shit out of me. It wasn't a bad entity.
but you
It
don't want it
was
there.
just yeah, it was just there. And
Mm.
I was like,
Do you need
no.
something? Do you want a snack?
Yeah. Well, he like it like freaked I think it was the heat and it like freaked me out because it like I told you I was sitting at my kitchen
Mhm.
table and I was like doing my homework or something and the lights were out in the basement because
Yeah.
obviously it's the basement. And Shelby just kept kind of like looking down there and I
Mm.
was like, God damn it, Shelby, don't fuck with me right
Yeah.
now. I'm like, I'm alone and it's dark and everyone's
Yeah.
asleep and I'm doing my homework and all this other stuff. And then the stupid toy went off. I
Oh,
told you
yeah,
it
yeah.
was like and it goes, "Welcome to our house." Do-do-do-do-do-do, like
No.
all this, and I was like, and then it goes, "Hello," and I'm like, "I'm done."
Oh!
So I like went downstairs and I was like, "You're not welcome here. Get out of my house." Like,
Yeah.
I understand you're probably not evil, but no, you're not welcome here.
Visit
So you
someone
need to
else.
leave.
Yeah.
Like, you need to leave. And it finally like left my house because even
Oh.
my friend who's Native American like came into
Mhm.
and felt it. She was like, "There's something in your house." She's
Interesting.
like, "It's not bad,
Yeah.
but it's there." And I was like, "Okay, so I'm not crazy, like, something's
Yeah.
in my house, like, I
Yeah.
feel it." Told it to go away and did a little, like, kinda like ritual to, like, get it out
Yeah.
of my house, and I was like and then it was fine. It's
Yeah.
been fine. And then I
Oof.
put, like, the evil eye and everything, like, up
Yeah.
in my house and whatever because 'cause I'm like, I
Not
don't want
welcome
it as
here.
bad, like, even if it wasn't bad, I was just like, "I just don't want it in my house."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, more
You're more than
space.
welcome to be outside."
Yeah.
Just kidding. My
You don't get cold, do you? You're
space. My
good?
space.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so, like, it's a lot less now. It's
Mhm.
not as frantic. I feel like too because so what happens when you're with that spiritually in tune like portion, the more open you are with it and the more in tune you are with it, the more you're gonna see.
Right. 100%.
When you're like me right now, I'm so
You're
effing
not.
busy
Yeah.
and like with my children and I'm focused on other things.
Yeah.
It kind of dims itself
Yeah.
because you're so focused on the reality plane and
Mhm.
not the spiritual plane
Yeah.
that you don't see as much of it as you used to.
Yeah.
Now, when there's like full moons and like portals and stuff like that, like whatever, like you'll start to see a little bit of more activity, but not again until you're like, unless you're like completely tapping into it and you're just like constantly
Mhm.
focused on it, then energy comes to you. It
Yeah.
just is what it is.
Yeah, I'm definitely in that more energy space of like feeling my intuition because I've come out of like the cloud of that like survival mode of
Hmm.
what I've been in my own space, in my choosing my own path and that sort of stuff. So like my intuitive hits are getting like, and I'm a big angel number person. I literally have it tattooed
Tattooed
on
on
my
you.
body. I'm getting another one too. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I always saw that as a kid too,
Yeah.
and just like it's kind of like for me, like it's a check in with like my guides or whatever,
Yeah.
just because like and I feel like I don't see spirits, but like I do um talking to like a manifestation coach and all this sort of stuff. I was like, I always
Hmm.
get this like sparkle out of the corner of my eye, thinking something's catching light. She's like, that's an angel.
Yes.
I was like, I
Yes, it
see
is.
that constantly. Like in my room now, it's like by my closet, and every night
Hmm.
I see it. And now I'm like, okay, my eyes aren't just fucking up. It's like someone's watching over me.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
like when I tap in and in tune, like it happens very quickly for me, which is cool because it's like, hey, we're here, let's go. You know, like
Yeah.
my spirit guides, I feel like are very, I kind of they're kind of like an asshole funny. Like you asked for these things, here the fuck they are. Like
Yeah, yeah,
here
yeah.
you go.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
we're here.
yeah.
Like you
Mhm.
wanted this, we're gonna give it to you. That sort of
Yeah,
thing.
for
So it's
sure.
like I appreciate that in a way, but it's also just like, come on, just like one easy path would be
Yeah, yeah,
kind
yeah.
of nice.
Yeah, I feel
But no,
that.
I have a lot of yeah, because I say everybody, like you said, everybody has the talent, the
Yes.
natural ability. You're
Yes.
born with it. You just eventually grow out of it because of society and
Correct.
distractions, and you
Yeah.
don't use that.
Right.
But I always had very like vivid, like clairvoyant, because it's like what is it, clair audio, clairvoyant, and there's all
Yeah.
these other sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
like some people hear things, some people see
Uh-huh.
things, and I am very much like a dreamer in
Uh-huh.
this sort of stuff. Or like someone will
Deja
pop
vu.
into my deja vu,
Mhm.
someone will pop into my mind, get a message from them, or like,
Yes.
oh, I think this person's pregnant,
Yes.
see a pregnancy announcement, or like I was seeing
Yes.
this person I drove by, like
Uh-huh.
you know, you're always taught to be like, oh, that's a coincidence, it's a coincidence, and it's like,
Like,
no, you're
no,
just
it's
tapping
your
into,
mind literally tapping into different energy, and that's what people don't want to tell you
yeah,
because they don't want to believe in that
because it gives
side.
you some sort of power over
Correct.
or false control, and it's like everybody has control
Yeah.
of their own reality. And my biggest thing too is like, you know, trying to find, you know, like trusting your intuition and all this sort of stuff, and like my intuition is the first answer that comes into my mind,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
if you start thinking on it, and because
Then
you're
it goes
always,
changes.
yeah,
Yep.
you're
Mhm.
always taught, sit and think about it, sit and
Yeah.
think about it, is it, don't go on your first choice,
Mhm.
don't do your first
Yes.
instinct, and it's like, no, that's your
But
intuition
my
hitting
instinct
you.
tells you to hit this bit.
Yeah, and if it hits in your stomach and not rushes to all these other anxiety and this sort of stuff, it's
Yeah.
like for me, you know, some people might be different. You might be different too. It's like first thought that comes to mind if I'm not in this like manic
Right.
mode, if I'm already
Yeah.
elevated and like
We're
I'm like,
thinking I'm
yeah,
done think
the
about it.
spiraling that I've been doing, not the best
Then we
time
didn't
to
think
be in
about it.
tuned
Yeah, I
and
feel
shoot
that.
off the
I
text
feel that. I've
message.
done that. I've done that.
Like it was my intuition. No, that was just
That
your
was
brain
your
going
brain
crazy.
going manic. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah,
damn
you know,
it.
it's more of like nudges that you s- like calmly get,
Yeah.
you know, get over time. So it's interesting to, and kind of cool to like tap into that and be like, okay,
Yeah.
I have to trust, which is a very,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a hard thing for me
It's
too.
hard. It's
Yeah,
hard in general. I mean,
yeah,
just to like let go of the reins because we're always told to kind of like be in control.
yeah,
And it's like, but you're not.
yeah.
Like everything is
It's like
moving
you are
around
and you
you.
aren't at the same time. Like if you're
Correct.
trying to control the outcome,
Yeah.
you're gonna, I guess, manifest. I feel like manifestation is such like a clicky word right
Yeah, yeah,
now. Like,
yeah.
so how do you view or how do you like manifest things in your life?
Honestly, I feel like I manifest things by just going for it.
Hmm.
Like I'm one of those people. It's like, okay, I want to do this and I want to do it and I'm going to do it now.
Yeah.
Like, and then things just start happening. Like
Hmm.
it's like I told you like beginning of the year, I was like, all right, I'm gonna start like social media and
Yeah.
podcast and like content creation, contests, blah, blah, blah. And I started it and and everything started like flowing,
Hmm.
starting getting views. I got PR packages from
Mhm.
Sally. Like it was just like manifesting, go, go, go,
Mhm.
go, go, like to like get things to grow, and I wanted things to move, and just how it is, like for me, like
Yeah.
those other people do other things, like write journaling
Yeah.
or speaking it out loud or whatever. But I
Yeah.
feel like that's always been kind of my go-to is just to go out and do
Mhm.
it. Like if you want things to change and do things, you have to do it. But that's my like manifestation like portion.
Yeah.
Like my dad always used to laugh at me because he'd be like, you would literally be like, I need to go get a job. I'd be
And
like
just go
16
ahead.
years old. And
Yeah.
I would be out all day. And then I'd come home and I'd have like 3 jobs.
Mhm.
So he would like laugh at me. He's like, "You're the only person I've ever seen go out and with a resume and like just
Yeah.
get a job." And I'm just like, "'Cause like I'm going for it.
Yeah.
Like I am literally manifesting the thoughts and wants that I want in my life. Like
Right.
that's what I'm doing. Because again, if you're not going to do it, no one else is going to do it for you.
Yeah.
And even the universe tells you if you're not inputting the effort
Yeah.
to change and have things evolve and go through, then nothing's going to change.
Yeah.
And like it's just like I think it's Darwin's law. A body that stays in motion is in motion. A body
Is
that
it
stays at rest.
Newton's law?
Newton's law. Thank you.
Darwin's
Thank you.
evolution.
I was like, what is happening? My brain again.
It's
Mom brain.
okay.
Mom thoughts. It's
Science.
coming.
We haven't done science in a
Science.
while.
You blinded me with science. But yeah. And then of course, when a body that stays is at rest
Yeah.
stays at rest.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm a big believer of, you know, having that momentum because I feel like so much you get a lot nowadays of just being like sit in this and dream and
Yes.
thoughts create your reality. It's like, yes, but at some point you have to take actions because it's
Correct.
not just gonna fall from the sky and be
Correct.
like,
Yeah.
hey, I want $1 million. You can't just like meditate on it and you
Yeah.
can't sit and pray to the gods.
Ugh, I wish it would
That's
just be
part
like
of
I would do
it.
it all the
Yeah,
time.
right? Everybody be fucking rich, but, like, that's part of it, but then you gotta prove it to the universe that, like,
Right.
that's
You
something that
deserve
you
it. It's
really
something you
want.
want.
You need
Yeah.
to prove it and say, "Hey, okay, these are your initial thoughts and actions. Now let's show how much you really want it."
Yeah.
Because so many people can be like, "Oh, I want a relationship so bad," and just,
Yeah.
like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "But what are the efforts
Yeah.
that you're putting into it?"
Yes. And
You
that's
know?
what drives me crazy about people that like want change but don't change.
Ugh, preaching to the choir.
Cuz it's
Yeah.
like if if you really want it and you want the universe to help you,
Yeah.
you have to do it in order to change.
Yeah. And it
If
can
you
either be
sit
the, like,
there,
small steps or
yeah,
giant leaps. It doesn't
correct.
matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you have to do something in
Yeah.
order for things to move in motion. Like
Yeah.
you can't just say, "Oh, I want to have $1 million. Oh, I need a better job. Oh, I
Yeah.
should go back to school." And just don't do anything.
Yeah.
That drives me crazy more than anything. I would
Yeah.
have coworkers that would do that and like, they were just like be like, "Oh, I need a better job. I need more money. I need
Yeah.
it." And it's like, "Okay, well what are
What are
you
you
doing
doing
to
about it? Yeah.
apply?" And nothing.
Yeah.
They would stay in the same role, the same job, the same relationship, the same like
Yeah.
and nothing would because again, you're not doing anything to change.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And but I feel like there's a caveat too of like you have to do it not out of like your fear based, your ego
Right.
based or desperation. Cause I get caught up in that too with like job searching we were talking about
Yes.
earlier. It's like, fuck, okay, well I can do all this stuff, but do I really want that?
Yeah.
You have to be really honest with yourself. It's like, is it something
Correct.
that I really want? Because if you don't want it, then that energy is not going to attract. It's
Mhm.
like
Exactly.
this the people that like get the things, and I know would piss me off sometimes too, because I'm like, oh, well, I want that, but like, do
Mhm.
I actually believe it at a core that I
Yeah.
deserve it, or that sort of stuff? And you just
Right.
see certain people getting everything. It's because they have that belief
Right.
that they deserve it, or they're worthy of it, or that sort of stuff. So it's kind
Mhm.
of like you have to put your ego aside, which
Right.
is hard for a lot of people and just be like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
"Alright."
again, that's something I tell you about with like evil eye.
Yeah.
Like those people and having those thoughts attract bad energy towards them. So
Yeah.
then bad things happen or the envy of someone else's success
Mhm.
roots theirs and doesn't
Yeah.
help them. Like
'Cause
I
there's
like
always gonna be enough in the universe. Someone's success doesn't take away
correct.
from yours, but we're
Exactly.
taught otherwise because it's
Correct.
competitive.
Because it's competitive. But it's like you manifest and do the things that you want to do in order to create the life that you want.
Mhm.
So for us, like for example, leaving Dallas,
Mhm.
we wanted to manifest the life of being that money, I feel like, is the root of all evil at
Mhm.
some certain points.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if you think about it, You can't take it with you.
Yeah.
If you die, where does it go?
It's just energy.
It's just energy. It's just
Yeah.
bullshit. It's electronic currency. It doesn't do anything. What will you take with you? You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
like, for us and for me in general, my life is based on experiences.
Mm-hmm.
I want life experiences more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
I want to travel. I want to do things. I want to show my kids things. I want to be outdoorsy. I want to like try
Yeah.
like those things are important to me and the more valuable to me than materialistic stuff. Because again, you can't take a Louis Vuitton bag with you in the to death. Like
Yeah.
you just can't.
Yeah.
And what is it gonna do? Collect dust in my closet because I don't use it.
Yeah. You're scared because it's too
It's
expensive
too
to do. Yeah.
expensive. I'm gonna ruin it. Like
Yeah.
so it's funny because like when we lived in that area, Dallas is very more metroplexes are very like money based and
Yeah.
it's the
Atlanta
kind of
was
the
the same way. Yeah.
root of all evil. And it's like, but you and I don't have the same motivation.
Right.
And then you would get the evil eye from those people like,
Mm-hmm.
well, you why don't you want this and why don't you want that and how come you guys don't live in here and how come you don't like drive a really nice car or do
Yeah.
this and it's like because those things don't matter to me and
Yeah.
if that's what makes you happy you
Right.
do it but
Right.
I'm not manifesting it to make you jealous or think
Right.
of bad things of me. I don't think bad things of you. If this is what you want for your
Yeah.
success then happy for you you
Yeah.
know
100%.
so that was something we were kind of like talking about it as of course our most recent visit to Dallas so
Puts a little perspective once you come back home. A little bit.
Yeah, it's true though. But it's just like I'm happy for everybody. And it's the same thing with like my family and stuff like that. Like I want them to be happy and I want good things for them and to be successful and
Yeah.
not regret anything. Like I want life for them to be wonderful. Like that's it. I don't have any like hate or like what do you call it?
Animosity.
Animosity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Against them. Like I want them to do good and I want the same thing for me. Like I want you guys we
Yeah.
all to be successful, whether however that looks for you, whatever
Yeah.
your thought process is with that.
Yeah.
So, just interesting stuff.
Just the tip of the iceberg.
Just the tip. So, with your kids, will you be is there like a certain religion that you're going to be like wanting with them or how does that look for you?
No. Since I don't follow a certain religion, I don't feel
Uh-huh.
like that would be the right thing to do because if they have questions, I can't answer them.
Yeah, I feel that.
I mean, I'm going to let them follow their curiosity and, check them if things kind of,
Yeah.
are an interesting question. But I think, especially our kids' generation, I feel like that's not going to be a huge thing unless your direct family is like really
Into it.
involved
Mhm.
with it. I think there's been even with our generation, such a huge shift from growing up and very like, you have to follow religion. Like, universal shit was for the hippies and witches,
Mhm.
it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you can't touch that because they're crazy, they don't
Right.
want to talk about black magic shit. And now you're like, it's everywhere now
Where?
because we're like,
Yeah.
wait a minute.
Yes.
The hippies had something going on.
Correct.
And like you said earlier, it all interconnects no matter what religion. Because when I was talking to my dad about this sort of stuff, it's like the basis of it is love.
Yes.
Love and like a higher power, whether you call it God, universe, Allah, whatever
Yeah.
else you call it. It's still believing in the same higher power, but no one can put a concrete answer onto it.
Correct. Yeah.
And so you're like, explain that to me then.
Yeah,
If you think universe is not the right word or you use God, it's like explain. And then that's where it gets trapped because it's like, well,
Right.
I can't.
I can't.
I can't tell you this sort
And
of
that's
stuff.
a big debate about religion because
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who are factual and scientific and they're like, but it doesn't make sense. And
Yeah.
it's like, but if there are again just people who believe and that's
Yeah.
hard for me to wrap my concept around is
Well, it's like the whole like creation of Earth.
yes.
Like, who the fuck can explain that? The scientists are going to go back to the
yeah.
evolution. When I was like, well, we all evolved from something, so I can
Correct.
follow that. Do I believe that we were all a tadpole and then gave that? Maybe not.
Right.
But also, like, how old were Adam and Eve when they were placed on Earth? Who birthed them, and how did that work?
Yes.
That sort of stuff. Like, there's pieces missing, or
Absolutely.
is it just one of those things where it's like we just want to create people in an Earth? And we'll see how this one goes. We'll try it again in the next universe. Like, we'll
we're gonna go to the other dimension and
like, I think it's so cool. Like, the whole like timeline stuff is
Yeah.
really popular right now. Because at first it's like, oh, that's funny, different timelines. You're like, but because now they're saying like deja vu is actually
Yes.
you jumping between timelines. And like
Yeah.
in the house I'm at now, I literally will
Yeah.
have like flashbacks of being in there,
Yeah.
talking to people that like I thought that this was a dream years ago, and I'm
Yeah.
like kind of like goosebumps about it. I'm like, okay, well, I think they're kind of merging in a spot
Yes.
because certain things, like going back to my old house, feels like a lifetime ago. And it was only
Yeah.
a month ago.
Yeah.
You know, it just feels completely different from like this
Yeah.
jump. And you're like, well, that's kind of cool. Like, obviously, brought you with, you know, we're
Yeah.
together on
Yeah.
multiple
Yeah.
timelines.
Yeah.
Other people are too, different lives. But you like, your journey can split. And then it gets
Yeah.
really like mind fuckery because
Yeah.
you're like, time is not, you know, linear. It's like there's no concept of time, and you're just like, my brain
My brain
hurts. Like I want to see it on paper of where I'm going, but it
Well, I
doesn't
told you
exist.
that it happens all the time too now when they turn on the atom splitter.
Mm.
Because then they only turn it on like once every like 20 years or something like that.
Yeah,
But when they do, things change from the past
that's so wild.
constantly.
Like
Like,
a movie.
and it's literally like we have now video and like things that can prove these things.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. Like it's like the Egyptian pyramids, like the pharaohs, like headpiece
Yeah.
was just like black and white and like or
Mhm.
black and gold and had stripes on it. And then when they turned it on and then turned it back off, now you go back to the pictures in the past and it had like a snake on it too with
Yeah. The Mandela
rubies.
effect.
Yes, the Mandela effect. So it's like,
Wait a minute. You're
wait,
like, huh?
but it's like, but wait a minute. And then the same thing with
Yeah.
lyrics for songs. It's like it said this, but now it says no.
Yeah.
And then you can go take an original tape that you have,
Yeah.
put it on, and be like, why
Explain
is it
this.
different? Why
Yeah.
is it? And the same thing with like we were talking about like certain brand names and colors. Like it's just like
Yeah.
what is happening?
Yeah.
So like timelines can definitely change regardless. Again, just the science behind it.
Well, then there's the whole like theory that every piece of history is happening at once.
Yeah.
And is like the Egyptians are happening at the same time, you know, this sort of
Yeah.
stuff. And you're just like
my brain.
but how?
My
Like,
brain.
how? You know?
Yeah.
That's when the conspiracy theories get thrown in. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a whole other topic of like what you believe in too. And then I also just sit back and just be like, why? Like, I know everybody wants, and I said earlier, like, I want an answer, but sometimes you have to just like pull yourself back and be like,
Yeah.
yo, I'm a human experience on this earth of whatever journey I'm on.
Yes.
You know, just like enjoy the ride instead of trying to be like information overload and explaining. And like, as much as I would love to know what my life looks like and when I'm going to meet someone, when I'm going to get this job, when I'm going to do this, what like my kids are going to do, it's like, that's just a human desire for control.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's
But
wild.
here's another question for you.
Okay.
Now, because we're at the point of like spirituality and like what is the higher power, right?
Mhm.
But we have evidence now that like we are not the only species in the universe. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you believe that there's another species, or
fuck
do you
yeah.
believe? Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
So like, I'm not the only one. Like, it's great.
Yeah, no. I mean, I feel like that, like, even as a younger kid, it's like, duh, like, how could we not be?
Exactly. We're so vast. It's so
Yeah.
big. The universe is so big. Like, we can't just be the only
Like,
ones out
Pluto's
there.
not even a fucking planet anymore, but
Yeah.
Pluto, like, rules my astrological house.
Yes.
Like, but wait, that's me.
But wait,
You know?
hello.
Yeah,
I'm a
it's-
planet.
Were they like little green guys? No, I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
so. I think there is multiple universes, multiple
Yeah.
people, multiple me's, multiple yous. Whether we have extraterrestrial life, which has literally been proven, it's like,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah,
Especially recently with all
Yeah.
the videos and stuff
and I
like
don't
that.
think they're here as a threat because, of
Yeah.
course, especially in the world we live in America, it's like everything's a threat. Everybody's
Yeah.
bad if they're not us.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Like, as long as, you know, well, then there's that whole Hollywood where like everybody's the devil and that sort of stuff. And you're just
Yeah.
like,
Well,
yeah. There's got to be good and evil to like balance it out. And especially
Yeah.
like, part of my personality is not to get like wrapped up in political stuff. It's just not
Yeah, me
my
neither.
choice in
I'm the
life
same.
that I'm not super
I'm the
passionate
same.
about it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not.
I listen to certain things, but other than that, like I don't like my whole life doesn't revolve. And I
Yeah.
can't like listen to it all day or
Yeah.
else I'm like depressed.
And I know certain people who will be in that space and they'll make you feel bad for that. But it's like,
Yeah.
that's your journey in your life. You're doing the work for that. I'm doing
Yeah.
other work that
Yeah.
you're not doing.
Yeah.
And that's what we need. And so, you know, with all the unrest in the world, I kind of find a little bit of peace being like, this shit's gotta crumble at some point
Right.
for, like, they were saying, like, the conscious of the world is raising up, higher vibrations. People who aren't in that vibration aren't gonna go into the next,
Portal.
portal or wherever they're going. So, like, I feel like there's a piece in that where it's like, I don't know if I don't wanna call it, like, naivety, but, like, that's I have to believe in that,
Yeah.
like, the scale has to equal out. The world's going crazy, but it's, like, also Mother Earth just, like, shaking her shit up and be like,
Yeah.
"Okay, we're ready for the next
Yeah.
thing. Like, you guys are leveling up, some are staying here, and
And some aren't. Yeah.
you're gonna be with the people that you match with. So, like,
Yeah.
you gotta bring that vibration up
Yeah.
as well." So it's like, "Hey, it's not gonna be the apocalypse," because apparently the Bible said the apocalypse was supposed to be
Oh,
sometime
I
last year,
know.
and you're like, "Well, so
Well,
2012
we're
was
still
past
hanging
too."
out. I know, yeah, that
The
12
Mayan
till 12,
calendar,
and it was
Maybe
a
someone
lot.
just stopped counting because they didn't wanna count
They were
anymore.
over it. They were like, "I'm done with this
They're like, "Next
calendar."
project, please. I'm done with this calendar."
We gotta move on to another one. Well, and that's another reason, like, why, like, it's crazy that people that when they don't believe in extraterrestrials or certain things, because, like, there's so much geographical and, like, historical
Mhm.
pieces that have, like, these, like, extraterrestrial, like, looking beings on them,
Yeah.
and then they, like, have gods or, like, powers, and they look like that, and it's like,
Yeah.
obviously, there was something guiding humanity at that
Yeah.
time to move them forward in order for this process.
Yeah.
So
I always joke, like, shooting star is just an alien just, like, late for work.
right,
He's
like,
like, "Fuck.
"Eee!"
Here we go."
Hyperdrive. Woo!
Yeah.
Don't touch the little red button.
Yeah. Dropped off on the wrong Earth this time. Fuck. Pull up the
Yeah.
map.
Well, that's what I always used to crack me up too, because like my grandfather, may he rest in peace.
Mhm.
He was a CIA like Navy man, like kind
Ooh.
of thing, right? And like Freemason and all that kind of
Uh-huh.
stuff, right? So of course, like he knew some
Shit.
shit. Like
Damn, if only you could ask
I
him the
know. I did
questions.
ask him a few before he was like too old,
Yeah.
too
You
old to
gotta get him,
remember.
like, between, like,
Yeah, but
they'll
he wasn't
spill their
allowed to like
secrets.
tell me. He would just kind of like give me a look and
Yeah.
like,
What did
and
he
I was
ask?
like, oh, I totally asked him. I was like, is there extraterrestrials? And he was just like, and
They
like
look like
nodded, and like, and I was
it.
like, are there mermaids? And he was
Yeah.
like, he's seen it. Obviously, he's like was like in a submarine, like he's like all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like, but like certain things, they're just like they know,
Mhm.
and of course, the government and publics and all these hidden societies just don't want people to know because they don't want the general public to freak out. Because what's the worst thing when you have panic?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anarchy. Anarchy happens because everybody freaks the fuck out.
Yeah.
So they want people to stay calm.
Yeah, but I feel like if it's like all the, like, the millennial stuff, like, aliens are real. Yeah, cool.
Cool.
What else?
Yeah,
What
but
else
like
is
in the
new?
past,
Yeah. Oh,
so
for
they'd be
sure.
like, freak
Yeah.
out. Like,
Yeah.
like, no, I mean, we're not the only ones here. Hey, what's
Yeah, it
up?
would be, I mean, ignorant to think that would be the only ones here. I know. I think the ocean's full of, like, crazy shit. And it's also just
Absolutely.
like, think of all, like, the sci-fi stuff that they've come up with, or even what's that show with 11, um, with the upside down world?
Oh,
God, what is
I
it?
can see it, but I can't think of the name.
Whatever. Like, when she, like, goes into those tanks and
Oh, Stranger Things.
Stranger Things,
Thank
yeah.
you.
When she goes into the tanks and, like, they do that.
Yeah.
This is not fiction. This is literally nonfiction
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
They do
happening. They're
these
just,
things.
yeah, they're like, "Oh, we're actually telling you what we do in the government, but we're gonna write it off
As
as
a
fiction."
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, no, people can actually access that."
Yeah.
And that sort of
Well,
crazy ass stuff.
unfortunately, when we get the whistleblower, so they all just end up dead. So it's like,
I know.
it's like, what happened to that lady that just told everybody that? And yeah, she gone.
Yeah.
We don't know where she is.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, do we not know, or
No,
just
she got
no one's
kicked.
looking for? Yeah, she gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
She gone. R.I.P.
She knows all the answers.
All the answers, and that's just what we do, though. It's just like we just get rid of it, which is dumb because I feel like it's like people need to know. But also, too, think about it like this: our country knows more a lot of the things than a lot of other countries because, like, China has like a regulation on like the internet,
Oh, yeah.
and so does like Korea and stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
they're not allowed to like be on. They have literally regulated internet, so
That's
it's
why
like they
ours is
can't.
going crazy right now
Yeah,
because we're like, we have all this information, we're
yeah,
taking control back or whatever.
yeah,
Like, the powers to be are starting to crumble. And I think that's just
yeah,
like another spiritual thing going on, like I mentioned before. Just
yeah,
like the truth is coming out, and the next society is essentially being born and
Yeah.
reformed,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
It's crazy. I know my husband was telling me like different stories from the Quran because like Ramadan was just recently, so like they read the Quran like during Ramadan and like he reads the whole thing. And it's funny because like in certain stories, like it's weird how prophets and like um what do you call it, wise men would like predict certain things to happen in the future, and they do happen even now. Like it's like the weirdest thing, and I'm like we were talking about how they're predicting that um in this day and age that the population there would be more gays and lesbians and less population of people and all that kind of stuff because of how things are changing and how the economy is and how things are going. Like he was literally like reading this and it was weird how they like predict what things will change in the future to now. And I'm like, how did they know?
Well, it's also like The Simpsons have never
I
been wrong.
know, damn
And
Simpsons.
like, how do you explain that as well? And
I
like,
need to know who writes the script. I'm like, who are you? We need to talk. Like,
yeah,
because we need to talk about my future life. Tell me what's going
exactly.
on.
We should go to the tarot cards and do
I'm
it.
totally down.
Get me some new crystals in the house. I love people telling me about my life that I may or may not already know.
I'm totally fine with it. Like, I'm like, let's do
Validation,
it.
please.
Yes, yes. And crystal shopping. I love crystal shopping.
I think I have one. I need to go replenish.
I'm telling you, the best crystal shop, guys, best crystal shop is to go to Estes Park. Okay. Estes
Oh,
Park has
yeah.
this huge rock store.
Yeah.
On the outside, like on the kind of outside of the main strip. You like take a left instead of going down the main strip. And it is the largest rock shop I've ever been in my life. Racks.
Let's go to the
I got
mountains and get some
racks.
rocks.
Like you're the kid with the racks in your pocket. Like I got racks. But like literally you can buy like huge geos and like actual like
Yeah, I
like
think I've seen
softball
pictures of
size for nothing.
Oh,
And I'm
okay.
like,
I'm going.
amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Shopping.
Buy some rocks.
I'm gonna go racks. Then we gotta go to the tarot lady and the Northern Lights too.
Oh yeah, I want to get one of those aura pictures done where they take
Oh
like
yeah.
there was one in Boulder. It was like $60 or something like that. I want to go and have someone read my aura. That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
If there's anybody that wants to like do that,
Recommendations,
please send it over to us. We'd love to know.
Yeah.
I'm down.
I love all the stuff. I remember going to Psychic Tanya with my friends when I was like in high
Psychic
school.
Tanya.
And of course, you're always asking about your love life. And
Oh
like, you're
yeah,
gonna
it's high
meet
school.
the love of your life this year. And I was like, well, that didn't happen. Here's your $20.
See that was another thing. So my sister, when I like was asking my sister,
No, we
like
need to talk to your sister. You get your sister.
my sister.
She's probably gonna be like, no.
She'd be like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
When I was talking to my sister about like because I told you when I was like having that spiritual
Yeah.
awakening and I was like, oh my god, like am I going crazy? And I told her I was like, would it be okay to like talk to a tarot reader? Like I had never done one before. Like it was just
Yeah.
like I said about 3 years ago when I started doing that. And my sister was like, yes. She's like, here's things to look for though if you're gonna go to a tarot reader. If
What'd
they
she
ask too
say?
many questions,
Oh, okay.
not legit. If they're asking for a shit ton of money, not legit.
Yeah.
Like there are just certain things that you need to know before you walk in, like
Yeah.
and do this. Because if you do, they're guiding your reading and not actually giving you anything from the universe that you need to know.
Yeah. I feel like the ones that are more legit that just kind of like you could tell when they kind of get in the zone where it's just like they just like
Yeah.
kind of word bombing on you and they're like, okay, and I'm done.
Yeah.
Like that was it. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
There's no like lingering. Just you gotta get the vibe off of them.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. Because there's so many people out there that like will just swindle you and take your money and be like, oh yeah, I read your cards here. Give me $50. And
Yeah,
you're
because
like,
anybody can technically read an oracle deck
yeah,
or a tarot card based on what it says.
right.
But what's I think the channeling part is just like your spirit guides or whatever,
Yeah.
coming in to tell you a message when there's that one little part that it's like, okay, I
Mhm.
really resonate with that.
Yeah.
Or that really makes sense, or I didn't tell them that piece of information. And
Yeah.
sometimes it can be like, or other people like mediums when they come through, like, I'm
Mhm.
getting so and so, they describe them, and you're like, oh, I've never really done a medium where someone has come through and like spoken. Not like my
Yeah.
grandmother hasn't come through, or something like that.
Yeah. I really want to do that to talk to my dad,
Yeah,
but I don't know who's legit. It's just really hard. Those are hard to
because you're
find.
like super invested in talking to him, so like
Yeah,
you don't want to get played in that situation.
exactly.
Yeah,
I don't want to get put in that situation. And then
I
a
also
lot
feel
of
like it's
them,
too soon.
yeah. Well, a lot of them too, like charge a lot of money too.
Yeah.
So it's like, are you legit? Are you not legit? Like, I don't know.
Hmm.
Like, honestly, I need a recommendation. I need somebody who's like talked to one before, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I can send you my lady, who sometimes I go to, sometimes not. Sometimes I go to her out of like desperation as more like a therapist, because we're
Yeah.
too intertwined now, but I'll take a step back. But yeah, she's a medium and a psychic, so whatever comes
Yeah.
through. But I know some other people that might have recommendations too. But I don't know I don't know like the timeline of when someone passes, how quickly
Right.
you communicate with them, or how, that sort of stuff. So that would be interesting. Or if
Yeah.
like you were actually be open
Right.
to that and not be like attached to the outcome, which would be
Right.
hard.
Right. I don't know. I just don't know. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, I need to know answers first before I can even like do anything. So it's
Yeah.
like, and even too, like, what I'd ask them is this too soon to do that? Do I
Yeah.
wait like a certain amount of time? Like,
Yeah.
I don't
You just
know.
talk to him on the mantle and be like, "Hey, Dad, give me some signs."
Hey, I mean, we could connect. He's just right there.
Yeah. Do you ever,
But
I guess the last question to wrap it up, like, what do you ever ask like the universe for signs?
I I don't,
Okay.
because I get them anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
So like,
So you're like, not like, if I will make this decision, send me like red balloons.
yeah,
Do you feel like you're like forcing it,
I
or?
don't force it.
Okay.
I get random messages at random times
Yeah.
from my dad.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. So like when he first died, I obviously was devastated
Hmm.
and in postpartum
Yeah.
and just distraught. And I kept seeing something in
Hmm.
my house, the corner of my eye,
Hmm.
usually late at night when I go
Hmm.
to bed. And I'm like, but I couldn't tell who it was at first because I'm
Yeah.
like, it's there, it's a figure, but I don't know if it's my dad
Yeah.
because it just wasn't giving me anything.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. And it was happening for like a week. And then I text my other friend who's in the woo woo portion of it too.
Hmm.
And she was like, is it your dad? And I was like, I don't know. I can't
Hmm.
tell because it's not doing anything. It's
Right.
not harming anybody. It's not doing anything. It's just there.
Hmm.
And then it goes away.
Hmm.
And she's like, mm, we'll see. Like, see what it
Yeah.
is.
Maybe it's
Didn't feel
his
dark, didn't
guides.
feel
Yeah.
light, but it just there.
Yeah.
And then it was probably, I would say, a week after he had passed, and I was in my room rocking the baby, trying to get him to go to
Hmm.
sleep. And I just laid him down, and I was about to lay down, and all of a sudden, pow,
Mm.
white light,
Yeah.
right, like by where I put the baby, like because like bassinet window,
Hmm.
whole thing, and it kind of came from where the window was at.
Hmm.
So at first I thought, oh, maybe it was like a lightning bolt
Yeah.
or something like that. Like, because your first thought is to think like, oh, was like a light bulb just like go out or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And then I was like, there's nothing in that spot to
Right.
make that light.
Hmm.
Because I could have sworn I was like, is it lightning? Is it something that had
Hmm.
just popped in my eye?
Yeah.
And I kept looking it up, and it was like white light means an angel.
Hmm.
And I was like, that has to be him.
Yeah.
That has to be him.
Yeah.
Because after that, I didn't see that figure
Hmm.
anymore.
He finally like chose his time to cross
Yeah,
over,
chose
probably.
his time to
Yeah.
cross. But then at random now, I always get like usually music. My dad
Hmm.
was a big alternative music
Hmm.
guy. Loved him some Tom Petty.
Hmm.
So they'll just be at random. Like I'll be like at the gym, and then there'll be a song that comes on, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, my dad
Hey, Dad.
fucking love that song.
Yeah.
Or I'll be in the car and randomly turn on the radio. Like it's nothing. Like I'm not like forcing it to go to the alternative radio station or anything like that.
Yeah.
It just be like random, and then I'll be like, oh,
Yeah. Little
there's
nudge.
yeah, little
Yeah.
nudge. This is my dad. Or like random things will be like, we'll go to the store and be like, oh yeah, my dad used to really like those.
Yeah.
Like just random little snacks that he liked the most, but they're not in the same spot that they used to be.
Right.
They're just like
Right.
random. And I'm like, the hell?
Would you quit?
But you quit. Would you knock it off? Now you're just showing off. But yeah, so like it's I don't seek them out
Hmm.
because I'm still in that sensitive stage of like,
Yeah.
things make me cry and all that
Well,
kind of
yeah.
stuff.
I also think when like the same, you're putting that energy where you're so desperate to want that
Right.
connection that you're, any red leaf is going to be like, oh, it's a sign from the universe,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, like,
And it's like, no, it's just really.
yeah. I've done that before, like buying houses. I'm like, please, I'll see this sign, and I'm like, oh, there it is,
There
and
it
like
is.
my intuition's like, yeah,
Yeah.
dummy,
You dummy, stop it. You're doing this to yourself.
No,
Like,
that's a
okay.
no. That's you trying to force your want on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally get
Yeah.
that.
I try not to because I'm still in that vulnerable stage
Yeah.
with the emotions. I'm not ready to deal with it completely
Yeah.
yet. So I'm like, I don't seek out in order to like make myself cry kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Like,
it totally makes
yeah.
sense.
So it's like, but eventually I'll get there
Yeah.
and I'll deal with it. But as
On
of
your
right
own time.
now, I'm just hanging out. He's
Yeah.
just hanging out on my mantle.
Yeah.
We're meeting the parents situation right now.
At least he's not an unbreakable thing.
No, it's not. Thank God. Or I don't have a cat to like
Yeah,
knock it
knock it
over.
over. Okay, I was trying to remember the movie. I was like, I'm pretty sure a cat like knocked it over or something like that. Yeah. Too funny.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap it up for this evening. Please do not forget to follow us
Yeah.
on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. If you have any suggestions for any episodes you want us to do, or
Yeah, for you.
comments, or if you
Yeah,
have a
like,
psychic medium that you want to
yeah,
recommend, please put in the
100%.
comments.
You guys like this type of flow of an episode more or whatever. We'll see how it performs. We clearly had to get some stuff out.
Because it was just a
So we
really weird
did.
week.
Yeah.
A week and a half off.
It's Friday tomorrow. I don't even know. I have the whole weekend
What
to
year
do
is
something.
it? That's me.
Fuck. I was signing something. I was like, it's April.
Damn
It's April.
it. I still have a
It's like
problem
2
doing
more months of school.
2025. I'm like, 2025.
This is January. I don't know. Fucking March.
We're only 65 days in. No, just kidding.
Well, yeah, Campbell's like, how many more days till Halloween? I'm like, I don't know, dude.
I don't know, child.
Soon.
Lord. All right,
Okay,
guys. We'll talk to you later.
bye.
Bye.